Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, dear viewers, to a brand new episode of The Pool of Ideas. My name is Junaid Dar and I'm your host for the program. Dear viewers, as the name suggests, our program is about ideas, about ideologies that run across the world or that have been existent for some centuries, for some time. But it's important for us to understand these ideologies for a number of reasons. From amongst those, number one, to understand the world as it is today. Number two, to understand how people perceive and understand certain concepts in the world. And finally, thirdly, it is the importance of how you can develop in the systems that are existing today. The unique feature of this particular program is that we don't just look at ideologies, but we look at them in connection to Islam. What is Islam's response? What has been the Muslim experience with these ideologies as well? Now, today's topic is that of slavery. So before we go into our questions, let's introduce our special guest and then we go straight into our questions. If I can begin by introducing Dr. Mahmoud Al-Khalifa, who is an assistant professor of cultural studies and mashallah working very hard with us here on Huda TV. I'd like to welcome you to the program and begin by saying Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Our topic today is one of a lot of controversy and has a lot of negativity and it's of slavery. Doctor, can I ask you to give us an introduction into this concept and what is understood by it?
Actually, slavery has existed ever since humans got into fights and so on. So basically, slavery is taking a human being into your under your tutelage and under your control. And slavery is basically had a dehumanizing effect on humans as they lose control over their destinies, especially at times of where ideologies like the Western ideologies of racism, which they took Africans as slaves from West Africa, they took them as slaves and controlled them and put them to very hard work on plantations in America and in other places. So slavery is basically a negation of a human being's control over his destiny.
Okay, and Doctor, if I could ask, what is the purpose of slavery, except for the very factor of human degradation? What is the other purpose? Why did America and other countries take people from other continents into their countries?
They took them as cheap, hard labor, okay? But taking them into slavery needed a justification, and that justification came from racist ideologies of the time, which put the African or black, characterized him as a beast, characterized him as less than human, like the beast of burden, and all he could do is being used like that. And this worked as a justification why another human being could be taken into slavery, to be worked to death sometimes, to serve the white man's desire to accumulate wealth and put slaves, put blacks to hard work on plantations.
Okay, Doctor, also, when we talk about these issues of slavery, it sounds like we're going back, many centuries. But what's the reality? When did this period of slavery actually take place?
There's a modern concept of slavery and an earlier concept of slavery. Slaves were taken for several purposes. For example, we have in the Muslim world what we call slave kings or slave princes, people who were taken from as slaves in wars, and then they were used as armies. They were used in the armies, and even when they were strong enough, they even took over power, like the Mamluks in Egypt. They were just Mamluk slaves.
Okay.
They became rulers of Egypt when they took over the Ayyubid dynasty.
Sure.
Which has been weakened by that time.
Okay, and the slavery trade of, let's say, the United States, how far back in history are we looking? Is it just a couple of hundred years, or are we looking at...
We were looking at the middle of the 17th century when it all started. It was started by the Dutch and the Spanish.
Okay.
Then they started to, there was an increase in numbers then. Up till let us say 15 million, up to 15 million Africans were transported in transatlantic slaves into America.
Okay.
Many of them died on the route in the what we call the Middle Passage,
Okay.
the journey from Africa to the place where they will be sent.
And is it fair to say that the vast majority of slaves came from the African continent?
Of course, the vast majority of slaves came from the black continent, from Africa, and 15% of them were Muslims.
Okay.
Given the fact that West Africa and certain places where slaves were taken, they were basically, Islam was a dominant religion.
Okay, so before we look at the religion or the original religion of the slaves itself, I also want to look at the trade as well. You mentioned the Middle Passage, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There were reports that as the ships would carry thousands of slaves, the slave master would also just throw off anybody who was not good enough or well enough and just throw them into the sea. Is that correct?
Yeah, in a recent book called Slave Ship, Marcus Gravey has given an extensive and minute details about what went on above ships. The captain of the slave ship was the absolute ruler. He could intimidate anybody, torture him, kill him on board of the ship.
Okay.
And there was rape. There was a woman who, a slave woman who refused to go to the captain's cabin, and she was tortured to death, torn into parts and thrown into the sea. So it was a very brutal reality.
Right.
So slaves who went, resisted on the ship or tried to flee or resist, they were cut, they were tortured, they were thrown into the sea. Even sick people, the sick were thrown into the sea. Okay. So it was a very cruel world. There was no basic standard of human dignity for the slaves.
Right. So they were treated not even as human, less than animals would be treated.
They were treated as chattel.
Right. Okay.
To be and even sometimes to get the slave ship, even sometimes they were, and basically the human conditions in which they were living was totally inhumane.
And Doctor, is it fair to say that the justification, the white man's justification for the way he dealt with the black man was because of the implementation of social Darwinism, where one is better than the other?
Yeah, social Darwinism placed people on a ladder where the blacks were at the bottom and the whites were on top of that ladder, and that justified that the whites should make control of the blacks, who were very limited in terms of intelligence and like the beasts, according to social Darwinism.
Okay, so justifying people according to some kind of development. One is more developed than the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Doctor, also could I ask, what is the purpose of not just intimidation or degradation, but once these slaves arrived in Europe and in the States, what were they doing and what were their jobs and how were they treated on land?
They were taken and sold to different masters, and they were used in the normal work on plantations. They would work the whole day, okay, and they were not fed and given enough food. So basically, they were used as cheap workers.
Okay, and would it be fair to say that these slaves who came over, they're the ones who established the foundation of these countries and developed them to what they are today?
Yeah, without the 15 to 30 million slaves who came to America, there would not have been any modern day America.
Okay.
They built America through unpaid hard work. Okay,
very interesting. Also, could I ask you, Doctor, the relationship that was between the slave and the slave master, was it one of friendship and love and care, or what was it like?
In America, it was a complicated relationship. It was one of control, one of continued punishments, one of rape. Slave females were available to the master. So it was a situation of total dehumanization of the slaves. And of course, here and there you'll find instances of possible friendship or good treatment, as appears from the autobiographies of some Muslim slaves who left autobiographies in Arabic, talking about that relationship. And there were some Muslim slaves who managed to make it back to Africa by showing that they are different, that they've written autobiographies in Arabic, and they stood out. They challenged this idea that black slaves were chattel, that they were educated human beings.
And
one of them was capable of writing the whole Surah of Al-Mulk in Arabic.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we have really documents.
Doctor, there's many reports that suggest that the slaves from Africa were actually Muslims, and then later arriving in America or even in Africa, they were then indoctrinated to Christianity. Is that a correct theory?
Some of them, yes. There was at least 15% of those who were taken into slavery into America. They were Muslims. And not everybody was capable of practicing Islam. Many of them practiced Islam in secret, and were capable of trying to hide their religion. There is in Sapelo Island, there is a certain, there were many Muslims who were capable of practicing Islam. Documents and references in the literature indicate groups of Muslims like Bilali, who was capable of having even the respect of the slave masters, and practiced his religion. And he even defended the Sapelo Island against British attacks. At that time, he led around 500 slaves to defend the island, and actually he defeated the British. So Muslims were even fighting for the independence of America. So.
Okay, very nice. Doctor, we're going to take a short break here, but when we come back, inshallah, we hope to look at slavery inside of Islam. Was it the same as it was in the States, or is there a difference between the two? We'll talk about that when we come back here in just a few moments. So, dear viewers, let's take a very short break here, and then when we come back on our program, we'll be looking at slavery inside of Islam. So I'll see you in just a few moments.
Open your eyes to the world.